Day 2 of the climate change protests in central London, and the police have been trying to shift demonstrators from a series of sites and contain them in Trafalgar Square. The police said they had to move immediately. Most refused, and some glued themselves to vehicles or the ground or both. By tonight, the police say they'd arrested almost 600 people over the last 2 days. And among those heading to London to join the protest, there is a certain Daniel Hooper. He was campaigning to protect the environment before some of today's demonstrators were even born. Swampy, as he was known back then, has returned to the fray as part of the Extinction rebellion movement and has been renewing his acquaintance with the court system.
A household name in the 90s, eco-warrior Swampy was for a while headline news.
I believe by coming out it was safer for all involved.
Climbing trees and tunnelling deep underground as he tried to prevent construction projects from destroying natural habitats. His cause put him on the wrong side of the law back then. And today he was back in court, the consequence of a recent return to environmental protesting. Guilty by his own admission of blocking the road to a Pembrokeshire oil refinery. It was a small protest with an affiliation to a global climate movement.
Yes, I did have a quiet 10 years and an Extinction rebellion started happening and, you think there's hope.
Optimistic for change but depressed at still having to fight for it. Does Daniel Hooper, whose underground antics as Swampy raised the environmental issue to a new level, believe it's still worthwhile?
I think this whole thing's a necessity now. That's why so many people are coming to London and putting their necks out and getting arrested. Not because no one wants to be in court, no one wants fines, no one wants to go to prison, but we have to.
What would you say to those who see you as a problem rather than a solution?
Well, I would say to them that the directors of these companies that are profiting at the expense of the planet should be the ones in court, not me.
Having been there himself, he worries about putting activists like Greta Thunberg on a pedestal.
I think she's amazing, obviously, and she's very clever, intelligent and articulate. But I do worry about her, I think we need to move away from figureheads.
Because she's a figurehead, in the same way that you were once a figurehead, you know what that can mean.
Well, I hated it. It wasn't, it wasn't what I wanted to do, and I don't think it did the movement much good.
That said, this reluctant protester is heading to London. Desperate times, he says, require desperate measures. Rupert Evelyn, News at 10, Pembrokeshire.